Leo family, hi! I hope everybody's birthday was amazing. I hope the eclipse was amazing. I know that it left everybody kind of with a fresh perspective. Personally, for me, that eclipse brought up nausea and a real intensity while it was going on. I did feel a refresh, but I have to say that you guys, part of the reason these videos are coming out a couple days late is I had to do some personal self-care. I hit a wall a few days after that eclipse where I had to rest. And it's been a really personal, intense time for me. So thank you for your patience. And part of what has gotten me through has been Tiffany at Pink LUNE, who not only is a coach to me in my life, but makes me the jewelry that gets me through these stones. We have amethyst quartz and aquamarine help me so much to stay grounded. These amethyst earrings, 15% off still at her store. I'm going to put it in the description box. Check her out because she makes amazing stuff and it can really be personalized to you. But Leos, we got to get back to this because, so, honestly, this year, and just in general, 2015, 2016 were karmic years for Leos. And starting this year, we were starting to get these shifts into new energy, starting to get reborn. And for me, and the way I was feeling this and the things that were coming in for me as far as messages was that this eclipse was really kind of our rebirth. It was a closing out of all that karmic stuff that 2015, 2016 was bringing. And with that means that, I was telling Cancers, I think last month, because it was right after their birthday in August, that they had like new skin that was really sensitive. Now I think this is Leo's. Like, we are in the second and third houses in September. And that means that we're stepping into our solar new year. We're stepping into a fresh cycle. And the note that I put down is that foundation is everything. I put that in all caps, actually. Foundation is everything this month. I mean, we are starting the month off with that Mercury retrograde. And actually, most of September, we're finishing out that Pluto retrograde. So there's some house cleaning energies that are still kind of working away behind the scenes for us. This month. And I think this month is going to feel like, house cleaning, building a foundation, putting that cornerstone in, not so much doing all the fancy fenestrations and windows and detailing, right, that we love to do, like all the beauty of it, the creativity of it. We are really going to the foundational floor and not so much doing the cellar work of like eighth house kind of Scorpio work, but doing much more of the work of the second and third houses, which is, our relationship to money in the material world and our communication. And I think that there is this theme of like, okay, now that we are re-emerging out of all this old stuff, we've closed it out. Now we're in new territory. It really is like, if you want to have a beautiful house, if you want to have a strong house, if you want to have a good foundation, what do? You make sure that foundation is strong before you put any structures over it, right? And so the theme this month is really like just simplifying and just going really to the heart of the matter. Our egos are there. We have them. I know we're all heart. Believe me, I'm not about to say that we are not all heart, but there's this... there's this part of us with the ego that wants to have the really good forward face, right? We want to show our best face to the world. We want to make sure that we're showing up in that way. And this month is going to be a lot less about that and a lot more about the internal work. I just turned these cards over and it really does speak to what I kind of was feeling before I even pulled these, in that it's going to be a bit of a subterranean transformation month, like subtle and slow and very real. And it's really an important time to just be gentle with yourselves, okay? So that's the biggest thing I would say, Leos. Be gentle with yourself in this process because you're going to be wanting to make big shifts right and left and just make big movements on everything. Because when Leos know what they want and when they're clear about it, when it clicks in that they're, I know what I want. you're ready to go for it. You're ready to make that phone call or meet up with that person or speak your mind or change your job or do whatever it needs to do. You're action oriented, you're fire. You want to move on things. And that can sometimes lead to you doing things quickly or too quickly. And this month I would strongly suggest listening in, tune in really deeply. So right off the bat, here's this Mercury retrograde finishing up its little cycle. It goes direct on the 6th, I believe. And to me, this is that energy. Okay, so we're starting right off with you kind of going in and looking at what is no longer serving you and any old limiting beliefs about your money, your value, your inherent value, right? I mean, these are pretty deep cards, and this is what I'm talking about with foundation, right? We want to make sure that we are thinking healthful thoughts, just the way we have like a healthy diet, right? I think, Leo's perfectionism is a word that comes up for me with Leo's. Perfectionism. Wanting to give all the time, wanting to do it to the best of your ability, to the point where little thoughts come into your mind about how you're not enough and you're not good enough and you can't do enough. And, it's this new year and you feel like you should have all of your answers and you should have everything cleared out. Those little thoughts have been kind of trickling in, I think, here at the beginning. So you might find that you need to just sit with this. You don't beat yourself up about it if you are having some of these thoughts. Just think about the things that you're ready to shift. Here, the 6 of Swords is about, leaving behind anything that's not serving you. It's a bittersweet energy, right? But this can be as simple as a habit. This can be as simple as a thought habit. It can also be that, you might realize that you are finished with some old habits or routines. You might be finished with a situation. You might finish with a housing situation. There are lots of ways this can show up, but just to start thinking about that and being okay with it and being gentle with the acceptance of it. These 5 of Pentacles too is, once again, it's that, just to notice if you're thinking that you're not enough or that you don't have enough, to just breathe through that and let it go. And replace these things with the positive. Where do you want this horizon to be, right? Because once again, this is a month about the foundation. This is a month about how we want to set ourselves up and make sure that we are nurtured. We want to nurture ourselves this month. Virgo is the sign of day-to-day routines. And so for everybody with the sun in Virgo, we're getting that bit of prep for the next season in life, right? So it's a really good time to just parse through the details. Use these last little retrograde things to really, because I see this shift coming pretty strong. And for me, these are big world shifts. We have the world and death, and I can't think of 2 more transformative energies than these 2. This is pretty epic, Leos. The world is about closing out an old cycle. And for me, here's the thing with that eclipse that was in Leo. For Leos, that eclipse is super personal. It's about the journey Leos are going through in this life. And I think it has so much to do with the 2015-2016 cycle. I really do. And there is this sense of it closing out. And I think part of the reason that we're feeling this house cleaning energy in September is because the actual eclipse, the day of the eclipse, was just the beginning of a 6-month cycle, right? And so we had the eclipse, but then this month coming right after it is going to feel kind of like the repercussion. You're just getting your footing in this new energy. And it does feel like you're kind of wrapping up. I mean, the world is the last major arcana, and then we start again with the Fool, right? And so this is you wrapping things up, and then simultaneously opening your mind and expanding your mind to the big picture. So that's why I keep saying patience is huge this month. Patience, because opening your mind to a big picture when you're closing out an old cycle can sometimes feel really almost too much. Like it's hard to comprehend it, right? And it will take a little bit of time and relaxation for you to start to have the fun of imagining what you want it to look like. And death, I think this mirrors so much of what the world is talking about and mirrors so much of what the 6 of Swords is talking about. I think we've been getting the death card a lot, Leos, and I think it's because, over the summer, I feel like this card has been coming up pretty regularly for Leos. And the death card, it is about transformation. There's been a big transformation. And transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's not something that you just go to sleep and have one dream and you're done. I mean, it really is a process. You know, he's on a horse where it's one step at a time. And I think this closing out, this shifting into a new gear is the kind of thing that takes time. And it's just going to feel like you are shifting perceptibly. Like, yes, that's the way I'd put it. I feel like a lot of you are just done with an old way of doing things, an old way of seeing yourselves even, or seeing your goals in life, seeing your relationships. There's a shedding out of something old. And like I said, this started around our birthdays, and now it's getting real. Now it's getting to the practical side of it, right? Where it's starting to feel like, okay, like I was having glimmerings of the fact that I wanted to make changes, but now I'm really feeling the internal shift. There's almost these tremors under the ground where it's like, I've got to shift, I've got to move, I've got to make changes. I need to do this for myself. So the first half of the month, I'm looking at all this energy that is about saying goodbye to an old shoreline. And I think like I said, patience is the big word, because I think there are going to be these little moments throughout that listening and that chilling out and that grounding down and that foundationing and that envisioning what you want, where you're clicking pieces in. And it's going to bring you to some new horizons as we head into the Libra season, which is the third house of communication. And here's where some of the practical movements might start to culminate. I mean, right out of the gate, once we get past that death card, we have the Two of Swords. Here's that, there's a couple paths and there's decisions to be made, but you feel kind of landlocked and stuck. And I think some of you, you're going to be resistant to whatever this change is here. Possibly. Or, you know, it might be that you open up conversations or possibilities, whether it's school, like grad school, or a job in a different city, or housing or relationship shift, where you have a couple options. And you might find, once again, that patience and foundation just keeps coming to my mind, because you might find you need to sit with it for a little bit. Because whenever I get the Two of Swords, while yes, it might feel that you're foggy or landlocked, I often find this as a protective card in that it pulls you back and it asks you to look inside before you make movement. Before you thrash forward, you pause and you look internally, right? And this is what this card does. And it actually came out next to the Hermit. And the Hermit is also a card of the internal journey, the deep internal journey. He has this lantern. And this lantern is really directed at the deepest, darkest parts of yourself. You know, that Pluto retrograde is about going in and assessing. And I do think that with these realizations that are going to become, it's going to be a very psychic month for Leos. Your dreams are going to be very, very deep and poignant and clear. And, you know, I would highly suggest to all the Leos out there, keep a dream journal or a journal of some kind for when you get those moments of just knowing, and write it down. The puzzle pieces are clicking, and it's forcing this internalization of those puzzle pieces before action. And especially the first 2 or 3 weeks of this month, truly just go inside. You know, the Hermit is actually the Virgo card. And once again, Virgo is about the daily habits and routines. And the Hermit, you know, he is ascetic, right? He isn't about the external ego. He is about the internal thought process. And I feel like the Two of Swords is like, this is a frustrating energy for Leos, right? We want to act on what we know we want. If we realize, oh, I love this person and I want to take a leap of faith, we want to go do that. You know, we'd rather know and like jump in there and set fire to something than sit here in our heads, right? But there's a reason, and there's cosmic timing, and there's this thing that the things that we're really meant to have and the things that are really meant to shift will happen in their own time. It won't be because we have to push for it. And I think I was actually telling Aries this last month that this desire to always push forward and make things happen can sometimes be a liability. And because you start to think that nothing will ever happen if you are not the one who's holding the responsibility of taking the actions necessary, right? And this month is, I think, for Leos now, it's your turn to do the internalization. And realize that you don't have to be the only one taking action and putting your heart out there and taking risks and trying new things. You can let situations also develop and be brought to the table. But here's the thing, the last three cards are beautiful, you guys. And I think it shows that while transformation is a little scary, and I think some of you might feel kind of nervous, you know, just underneath the surface, you might be feeling really nervous, a little insecure, a little concerned that you are on the right path because you're transforming inside at this really like deep, earthy level. But if you can relax with it, really listen in, give the cosmic timing its thing, the last three cards will show me that, you know, it's because you're really looking to move into this territory right here. There's been a lot of strife. There's been a lot of questions and opportunities, and a lot of things were ripped open around the birthday, the Leo season. And then parsing through them is a whole other animal. September is parsing through everything that's been ripped open, all the truths that have been revealed. And in doing that, we have another of these internal cards. So we're starting off here with the High Priestess. And this just goes back to your intuitive knowing is so valuable. You know, the High Priestess she's okay with whatever she knows. When she knows something, she knows it and she's centered in it. And she knows that her greatest power is in the knowing. She trusts it instinctually. She is trust of the knowing. And that is probably one of the biggest things I want to say to you, Leos. Don't second guess your value this month. Don't second guess asking for what you really need and want when it's clear that it's time. I would suggest taking some time to really figure that out. Really listen. Not just listen to what you want the storyline to be or that external story to be, but really listen to what you want. And then really, you guys, please just know that what you want and need is absolutely valuable and should be heard by those that need to hear it. Like I said, Libra is the third house of communication, so I think you might be finding the last week of that month there are communications going on. You're allowed to have those desires and needs. And if you can center in the way that the Hermit and the High Priestess do, they have their centers, so nothing can shake them. You're going to ride through and find this for yourselves. 10 of Cups and Ace of Wands. Wow, Leo. I'm really happy about this. I'm really, really happy about this. I love to see this for Leos because for me, these two cards together like this is Leo in a really happy place in life. The 10 of Cups is about emotional fulfillment. It's about soulmate love and romance and happiness. Full cups. I mean, there's rainbows, there's dancing, there's children, there's jubilation, like the fun that Leos like to have, you know. This is where Leos want to be. And the Ace of Wands, that firecracker, fresh intensity of saying, I want to take my element, fire, and take it and put it out into the world. Start some new fires, start some new blazes, start some new trails, create, exist, exude, right? That's what Leos are made to do. They are made to be the Ace of Wands, and they are made to love on the 10 of Cups level. It's a beautiful freaking thing. And here's the thing. This is all yours. All that hard work you did in 2015 and 2016, all the freaking hard lessons you learned in that time, you have been setting this stage. This is a huge, long process. Like, do not get me wrong. And you're going to be feeling, and so what part of what I'm saying with this is also long range. You may not see all the benefits of this right in September, but this is what you're setting the stage for, and this is what you're really connecting in with, because this is who you are. This is who you are. And it is yours. It is yours for the taking. You are allowed to have this vision and this dream. You should be having this energy. This should be how you feel with the people that are around you. This is how you should feel in your relationships and in your work. And the thing that's going to be going on this month is pretty intense. I will admit, it's really intense because you are going to be seeing with multi-dimensional vision, basically, psychic visions, physical, mental, emotional, all the, multi-dimensional, with the clearest, freshest eyes, what is working for you and what is not. That's really intense. It's really intense. That's why I'm saying, you know, some of you might feel kind of nervous or on edge or a little bit tired or a little bit fractious. It's okay though. It's really beautiful though, because what it's going to do is it's going to free you up so that you are absolutely on this path and you know it. And there's been a lot of fogginess and second guessing for Leos over the summer and the spring. It's been a real kind of stormy seas with a lot of fog. This is kind of the first month where that fog is lifting and it gets very clear. And that can be really harsh, but it's going to set you up for the best, for true love and happiness and creativity and fresh starts. And that's why, you know, this Ace of Wands ending with that, for me, that's like really firmly putting your foot on a path that serves you very well. And that's so exciting. So have patience with yourself, you guys, this month. I know I've already been feeling this energy. Not to make this reading about me. I mean, truly, I couldn't have picked more intense, beautiful cards for this spread and this energy, but really what it requires is the most radical of self-love. You are so worth what you want in life, and you're so allowed to ask for that. And you're also so entitled to that self-love. So please do that. That's the key this month, is that centered self-love. It will carry you right where you need to go with no effort whatsoever. I love you guys so much. You are my family. I will start crying if I think about Leos, because obviously I'm a Leo, but like there's something about the bond we share when we do work together that is just so freaking fantastic. And I just love you guys so much. And I want Leos to be happy and moving in life in a way that makes them feel fulfilled. So I would love to work with you guys. I'm going to leave my website and my email below in the description box, along with Pink Loon. I do Skype readings, phone readings. I can do pre-recorded readings. I'd love to work with you guys. I love you so much. Take such radical good care of yourself this month. Be your own best girlfriend or boyfriend. I will see you guys in October for the next round of excitement. I love you with all my heart.